running wild and free. You got nothing on me, you got nothing on. Taking in to a new degree, keep you lost in the smoke and debris. Breathing in ashes every night, flames igniting as a light. Taking it higher all the time, feeling the pressure on your mind. The heat is slowly rising, you know I'm gonna take you down. Temperature is climbing, leave you 6 feet in the ground. Deep rumbling like the thunder and the lightning. Keep running, burning embers, I'm surviving like a phoenix on repeat. You'll never burn me, you'll never burn me. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 'cause I was born in fire. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So light it up, baby. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 'cause I was raised from the ashes. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm fireborn, baby. Get in the game, in the race, get that ace, get that getting all up in your face. Gotta get it down to the new round. Run it back, get it on track. Breathe the fight, bring it on sight. Drop it like it's hot, make the beat drop. Breathing in ashes every night, flames igniting as a light. Taking it higher all the time, feeling the pressure on your mind. The heat is slowly rising, you know I'm gonna take you down. Temperature is climbing, leave you 6 feet in the ground. Deep rumbling like the thunder and the lightning. Keep running, burning embers, I'm surviving like a phoenix on repeat. You'll never burn me, you'll never burn me. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 'cause I was born in fire. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So light it up, baby. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 'cause I was raised from the ashes. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm fireborn, baby. Burning in my bones, it's written in my code. You're playing by my rules, so lock in and reload. Then blaze up like the sun, white flames in my blood. Heart ablaze, stay stunned, taking aim on the rod. Deep rumbling like the thunder and the lightning. Keep running, burning embers, I'm surviving like a phoenix on repeat. You'll never burn me, you'll never burn me. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 'cause I was born in fire. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. So light it up, baby. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 'cause I was raised from the ashes. Oh yeah, 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 yeah. I'm fireborn, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Light it up, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. Fireborn, baby. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm fireborn, baby. Life's alright in Devil Town. We're right, no one's gonna catch us now.
There we go. My fucking OBS switched my microphone settings. Hi, welcome back. I was gone for a week because I was not mentally feeling well. But other than that, we are doing well. Also, this is an impromptu stream where I'm going to be ranting 50% of the time because Genshin has been pissing me off as of recently and they need to change their game. Or they have to change some things. We made a Google Doc about this. And what by me, I mean me, Atlas, and Ray. Also, welcome to stream. I don't want to walk. So I will get to the cutscene. I'm alright with hearing a rant. There is a Google Docs that has like multiple points to this game, which again, I appreciate this game. I love this game. It has become a comfort game to me. It has also stolen a lot of money from me, but we don't talk about that. But that's a hole. Is there a fucking waypoint right next to it? I didn't. Your stream is a dumbass. Oh, it's Mana! What the fuck are you doing here? Alright. So... Cool, we restarting this shit again. Alright, I switched to Wi-Fi. Let's hope this works. Because, oh buddy, friend, pal. But yeah, so speaking of green hair, I don't know if I have enough dye to do fully green hair, but yeah, definitely back. I have a laptop set up next to me for like chat and stream stuff. But yeah, back to what I was saying, because I'm pretty sure I screen broke it. Can we please stop having lore and standardized events? Hi, Mona. Is this her story quest? Because the reason why I said we've seen this scene before is because in a 1-point-something patch, we met Mona before. And also, we met Scaramouche before. So, Genshin, please stop putting lore-based things in the limited time events, because even though you can look them up on YouTube, I do not want to find out that we've met Scaramouche before from a limited time fucking event, and that his alliance change when you meet him again with Sumeru. And also, I'm sorry to all the people who don't know that Albedo has an evil twin. Actually has multiple evil twins. Honestly, like, I understand, but like, bro, I looked up, there's actually like a lot of lore that I'm like skipping over, but like the Albedo and Scaramouche are like the two like biggest like lore things that people know about in this game. Like, bitch! Yeah, again, I'm not paying attention, so I'm pretty sure. As much as I love Mona, bitch has cost me multiple 50-50s, so I despise this bitch. I'm doing well. I literally just have to scarf down food, so like my tummy hurts a little bit because I literally made food 20 minutes ago, and I was like, oh shit. Also, the crown ring came in! He's adorable. He's also incredibly sharp, so if I ever change this, I can stab a bitch. So yeah, Genshin, why the fuck are you putting lore-based things? Like, I understand, like, the yearly events. Actually, that's completely false. I know how astronomy works. But, like, I understand, like, the Lantern Rite is, like, a yearly thing, which, again, you could have some events. Fucking Shinha's introduction. That has brass knuckles. It does. Dude, I've actually, like, there's, like, tiny scratches out on my ring, or on my finger. Since when was I your student? Again, people can love Mona, she's a great DPS. I just will never fucking touch her with a 10-foot pole because she's cost me too many 50-50s. Yeah, I don't like how they have, like, lore-based things into limited time events. Because it's such a shame. Yeah, is this her fucking story quest? I will leave. Especially like the Inazuma event before this, we got background on a lot of the characters, mostly Kazuha.
それこそ賢い選択です。では参りましょう。
Yeah, because I know Ray is one of those people who's played Genshin for a very long time, even though she acts like she has not. Hey, yo, I did not agree to do Mona's quest! Hey, yo, I did not agree to do Mona's quest!
なぜか人気が出ないんです。
Haha, but the funny thing is, shut the fuck up! Basic mode, bitch. Confirm. Also, Kaya is awesome. He very much is. Again, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but we have theories of who this man is. Go to the Adventure Guilds and Mondstadt? Fucking bet. Also, I do not trust Catherine with a 5-foot pole. Because again, if you do not know, I did not do a reaction on it because I watched it with Ray. Actually, I watched it with Atlas after the fact. It got really dark all of a sudden. But, which again, I feel like was planned. But Mihoyo first released all of the Fatui agents and like the designs and stuff. One of them is called the Marionette. And I believe Catherine's a robot because the guild's also stationed in Inazuma, which is like the big thing. Yeah, I'm not sitting through Mona's quest. I'm sorry. I despise her. That's a Kazuha. That's a Kazuha. Who's the robot? Your audio isn't that good. Oh no! She is. People are speculating she is. Why is my audio not good? Oh! I know why. Get the fuck down. Actually, wait. There we go. It should not break as much as it is. I have the stream pulled up. I don't have my audio. Oh! I love to hear more. I forgot Fischl also does that. She can. But also, there's drama within the like, Genshin community because Paimon's voice actor said some stupid shit. Yeah, my next topic of like Genshin putting lore in like certain events is about their fucking character design, which again is a big thing. But hopefully I am partially correct, but I think Hoyoverse is having only these certain amount of characters that have been publicly released and leaked to the public. I think they're only there for just to get the Dendro to see how it works. Because we have the 2 Dendros, which one of them we're getting for free. Which I am happy for. But I'm pretty sure, hopefully, that they're just putting it out to the public to see how like Dendro is favorite before they make. I don't know how to change VA. Well, you go to settings, audio, actually wait, language, here it is, and then you can change this. Oh well, they have more. Never mind. But yeah, funny enough, everyone in like my close friend group does not play in American. Ray plays with everything Japanese, Atlas plays everything in Korean, I play Japanese voice with English, because I am not tough. I want to shoot the birds. Stupid motherfucker. It happens. It took me forever to figure it out too. But yeah, I definitely think Mihoyo was not that inconsiderate that they are going to risk losing, first of all, losing money. Oh, it's Oz. And second of all, risk losing a portion of their fan base because of like the skin type. I'm gonna put it in Spanish. Yeah, I really hope they're not that inconsiderate.
私の最も忠実な従者よ。
I've not heard Fischl's voice. I've met Fischl. I have not met Fischl in lore. Ray has though.
さっきは進化だったのに、今は従者なんですね。
I've met Mona. Please, for love of fuck, do not make me
申し訳ございません。ご機嫌のよろしい時、お嬢様は大げさに話してしまわれるのです。お許しを。
Yeah, my person's faded incredibly a lot, so that's why I've talked about doing it. Turning it green with like a different color at the end. Bird, it's Oz!
エイヤのささやきがあなたを私のもとへ導いた。実に喜ばしきことだわ。これぞ夜の祝福の恩恵よ。この喜びをいざあなたと共に享受する。
Yeah, because if you, again, I'm entering into like league territories for Sumeru. So if you do not like those, please leave the stream. Because like you can see, did the bird just speak? Yeah, Oz speaks. But if you look at like all the leaks for the NPC and even the enemies, they are darker skin tone than literally the playable characters. Which again, I know there's possibly going to be more characters up until probably the game is finished. Because you still have new characters coming into Liyue, and then you have new characters coming to Mondstadt, so I do firmly believe they're not just going to end the Sumeru with like the lead characters. There's going to be more brought in. Also, yes, I'm not paying attention to this game, even though this is a new event. Is that your new nickname? What?
長きにわたって私に仕える宮廷の首席大魔導士よ。ご本。彼女は私を名字で呼んでいるだけなので気にしないでください。まったく私まで恥ずかしくなっちゃったじゃないですか。
They're gonna update the Subaru skin colors, hopefully, and not just have them the way they are, because that would be really fun.
さすがは大魔導士。
I feel like I'm missing something.
なんて危険な女なの。
I'm actually opening the Google Doc I
そんな
have.
の占うまでもないじゃないですか。キャサリンに伝言を残したとあなたが言ってたんでしょ。ご本。
Haha!
失礼。
Speaking of player models, please Genshin, for the love of fuck, please give us different models. I'm kind of tired of all of them being skinny. Look to Dialite if you need inspiration. Why would you do that to yourself? But yes, please, that game is beating you out on character designs. Even though I lost a lot of interest in that goddamn game, I still have it downloaded because the characters look sick as fuck. But also, it's another gacha game that I refuse to spend money on. Since Genshin already steals my wallet, and I'm going back to school soon. I didn't put my sleeves on. That's what I forgot to put on. Whoopsie. I got him. I forgot to put them on because I was going to, and then...
Oh, なんということでしょう。
It's English.
ありえないように聞こえるでしょうが、今回の情報は空騒ぎではありません。私もそれを証言できます。実は、フィッシュルはメギストス教。
You can do that. I don't mind.
本当にしょうがないですね。まったく。
Again, you can do whatever you want during my streams. You do not have to sit and watch. You can lurk.
こんなおままごとに付き合わ
Do
な
that.
きゃい
I'm
けない
checking
ん
to
で
get
す
the price
か。
off.
実は
Again, this is what, a 2-year-old bracelet that I got in
町の外
Ireland.
で
So
平
yeah,
なきしクレイとお会いになりました。
he vibes.
お二人は以前からお互いのことをよく知っていたため、
Spark Knight.
すぐに話も弾みました。しかし日が暮れて
Also,
しま
guys,
った
I'm
の
sorry,
で、
Clee fans. I'm not pulling for her. I don't like her playstyle.
クレイを問
Even
題
though
児
I
にお
would
送り
get
にな
help.
ったんで
Who's
す。
texting me?
道中、皇女殿下は
But-
クレイに自
Oh
分
god,
の
why
人
would you
生
do
を
this
語
to yourself?
り、
Stream on phones never work
心
out
優
good.
しき小さな騎士は殿下の祖国が破壊されたことを嘆き、涙を流して尋ねました。
へえ、 その夕夜浄土って場所本当に滅んじゃったの？もう一回作られたりもしない？
凡人よ。その誠意と思いやりに感動を受けたわ。
I really like Fish's
教え
design.
てあげる。
Also, yes, I do have to give
Yuya
this
Jodo
skin, even though I do not have to
Fumetsu
use
de
because he's one of the few. Play
いつか
Supreme.
再び
Hi,
世に現
Justin,
れる。
welcome to the stream. I don't like Klee. I don't like her. I do not like her playstyle.
は元通りになるの？クレイに教えて。お願いお願い。
As I, oh my
偽り
god,
なき
I love that
真心を持
emo.
って
Why does
聞
Oz
くな
sound like
ら
that?
いいでしょう。
Because it's
静寂
Japanese.
の楽土と
I don't
無
know.
類の警護を。そして
Again,
時間
I
と
don't like.
風
I
を
don't like
我に与えし
a.
時。
This might be slightly controversial. I do not like a lot of the voices that have certain characters have. But it's a lot
簡
better.
潔に言えば、夕夜浄土を蘇らせ
You
るため
spelled
の
you
大
spelled
聖地に
short
と
wrong. Short.
クレイはある島を譲ってくれたんです。私もこの手紙を見るまでは信じられなかったんですが。
I'm a witch who travels amidst the mountains and rivers of Tibet. I write to you, having heard of your young daughter, that your kingdom has fallen, and now you search for a way to restore it. Golden. Yes!
皆様、これは神がお嬢様に与えてくださった絶好のチャンスなのです。
Correct.
旅人さんは重臣として偉大なる瞬間を共に見届ける資格がある。
その島ってなんだか覚えがあるような。
Shut up. Can you do the fuck back in?
旅人？何をほうけているの？夕夜の王座が呼んでいるわ。
I'm gonna be a bitch.
私の刃となってすべてを切り裂きすべてを見届けなさい。
Have the phone keyboard.
彼女はただ
No, my mic
あ
has been
なたた
acting
ちを
weird
島へ
now.
誘っているんだと思います。それからあの島については何も占わない方がいいような気が。なんでだ？クレイと関係するのな
Why
ら
you do this?
彼女
Oh
の母
god.
親、つまりあのババアも関わっているかもしれませんか
Oh, shit.
ら、本当に
We're going
困ったも
farther.
のです。
Why do you hiccup so much? Okay. We're putting it there. Or short over. I hate you.
旅慣れたあなたは星屑が手のひらに落ちる奇跡を読み、
Traveler, you've been to the island before, just not on my
運命の
cannon.
星に流れ落ちるのを目の当たりにしてきた。
I'm just gonna put it on the lowest
そ
grade.
んなあなたには
お嬢様のために運命の楽土を探していただきます。
道がわからないだけかよ。
There we go. Shut up, I do not care that I just unplugged the device.
まあ、せっかく頼んできたんだから
What
教
the
え
fuck?
て
Why did the screen change? What the fuck? What happened? Huh? Why? Eh? The fuck? Oh god, ew. We're putting that down.
おい、お前も合わせろよ。
Why?
見届け人であり案内役、そしてゲームを紡ぐ者、すなわち旅人の登
Gotta
場
go
で
for
す。
Oswald just to make a friend jealous who lost 50-50 like the whale. You can make people suffer. I lost my 50-50 in a Mona on my first 10 pull. I was so excited. I was like, goddamn, I have luck. No.
要するに
Again, I even said to people, I was like, I will lose Cosmo to D-Look or anyone else but Mona.
だ
But
ったら
this bitch is
あ
my
とはお
cheat
任せ
sheet.
します。
I have. She doesn't fucking leave. I'll take that Mona. Take her. All I've got is weapons. Take the bitch.
はいはい。じゃあ
Take
メ
her.
リストステ
She
ア
is
が帰って
she
き
is
た
my
と
only
しても
5-star that has more than one constellation.
朝の
Actually, I
9時
think
の弔問で集
yeah,
合
no.
しましょう。
because it's Xiao.
ふむ。そうするわ。
Yeah, I think other than Xiao, she's the only one who has one.
安らかな眠りを
Take her.
旅人の
お嬢様
All
は
I've gotten is weapons.
皆様おやすみなさい。明日お会いしましょうとおっしゃっています。
Alice has insane fucking
もう
luck.
うんざりだ。おやすみ。
But also, let's all say rip to Ganyu because she's getting replaced on my team with That's good. Yeah, let's all say rip to Ganyu. She's being replaced with Yoimiya in about 19 days.
なんでオイラだけ宮殿 の時報時計なんだよ。くるぽーくるぽー。夕夜用土時間12時だぜ。
The fuck?
せっかく不思議な島に行くんだし、ずば抜けた発想を持つやつに手伝ってもらいたいよな。
Gonna happen. Oh, it's gonna happen. Genshin always, like, Genshin streams have been crashing every time there's an event. So we're gonna hit 10 by the end of this. Be back. Cool. Yay. Alright, head to angle. Right there. Are you gonna show me his new skin? Lisa is a good character, it's that she's just slow. Which is the same with a lot of Catalyst users. No, she's not slow, she's bulky. Like, if you build her right, like, shit. You can do damage with her. If you build her with the fuck is that thing called? If you build her with these, or this, it's fucking over. Oh my god! I'm going to forever fucking hate that.
着いたぞ。銀融野郎って、
Kazuha!
おい、
なんで
こいつらまで本土にいるんだよ。
That?
へえ、本当に来るなんてね。さあ、座って楽しく。
I fucking will. It has a bunch of my favorite people.
旅人にパイも。ちょうど噂をしてたところに現れる。
I love her design. I just wish that that they did not make her so bad. Also, he is fly. Oh my god, Betsy.
の言葉通りでござるな。
You fucking kidding me?
どうしてモンドの酒場にいるんだ？しかも銀融野郎と同じテーブルだなんて。
Oh. Oh no. Oh no. My stream is unstable. It's gone crap, right? Fuck you. But now we're doing this again. Oh, what the fuck? There we go.
銀融野郎面白いあだ名だな。どうやらあんちゃんの歌声はかなり有名みてえだ。ロックじゃないのが残念だけどね。深淵と共演できたかもしれないのに。みんなも彼女と知り合いだったなんて驚いたよ。僕の新しい
You've met him!
旧友たちの異教の友
He's met Kazuha!
すごいよ。せっかくだからサークルを立ち上げてみないかい？
I feel so bad. I've been stuck with Geo Traveler for so long. Yeah, he's met Kazuha! He's met him!
ちょうどカズハも旅がしたいって言うから一緒にさ。先月北斗さん
Also, this bitch has been the fucking Fajoey!
大会って
He makes me want to strangle someone.
そこで演奏を手伝ったことがきっかけでカズハと知り合った。
深淵殿は自由奔放に見えるが、音楽に対する理解は非常に繊細かつ独特。拙者たちは音楽のソウルメイトと言えるであろう。
Oh my god, really?
カズハは葉っぱを楽器にできるんだ。あたいの友人の中でも屈指の凄腕さ。リーウェイを出て石門の先にまっすぐ進んだらすぐモンドだ。途中綺麗な荘園もあって素敵だったぜ。おお、そういえばその荘園もオイラたちの友達。
It's funny because my camera doesn't say anything. I just notice it's down.
あんたら友達が多いんだな。あんなところに住んでるくらいだし、その友達もきっと充実した。
It goes out again. I'm turning it off.
そうかもな。
Also, okay, back onto the rant, because I exited out of it. The way standard banners have to work, or for like the end game, has to fucking change. And this is what I brought up to Atlas because I was talking about it. Also, the overlay is overly delayed. I don't give a fuck! Because I have no bitrate. My bitrate's at 3 million. Shut the fuck up. This stream should not be running functionally.
担当者の顔が見たかったのに、また採点についての情報が途絶えちまって、まさか今回も中止になったのか？音楽はインスピレーションが大事だけど、それがなかなか湧かないからコンサートを中止にしたのかもね。でもまあ、君たちの旅も無駄じゃなかったと思うよ。
The way the standard banners, they need to change severely. And you might be asking, why? It is because when you are in endgame, you have the possibility of pulling people from a nation that you are taking hours to get to. This is already happening with people pulling for Toma when they're a brand new player. Because not only do you have to go through all of Inazuma, then you have to do his quest to unlock the fucking island, because you could not explore more than 4 feet into his fucking island to get his material. Yes, I know this. I've not fucking completed the quest needed. But it's just annoying. And when says Naya comes out, when Sumeru comes out, like, you are having the possibility of pulling characters from nations that you are spending, like, hours and hours trying to get. So it is either they make it so then merchants that you can get the, like, one ascension material, not the boss drops, like, I mean, like, either the flower, the pearl, the bug. I'm also thinking about this fact of like the pearls for Goru and Kokomi and all that. Because again, there's no physical way for you to get those items unless you were at the island. Or they just change the way standard banner works completely and do it so you are locked into certain standard banners to your AR. So like when you first start the game, you are unlocking only a little bit of. You are only unlocking all of Mondstadt with a little bit of leeway. There's a lot of Liyue characters. Okay. I don't remember. Other than him, you get him for free. But that's really it. Because that's like intro game. You're meeting people. I just remember you get Kaya. That's all I remember. I have been here for too long.
夏は愛の季節であり、自由と息抜きの季節でもある。だからここに来る人たちは歌って踊って。
Yes, the standard banner needs to change, or they need to give options so that you can get ascension materials without having to be in those certain areas.
はい、物語はここでおしまい。
But yeah, dude, you've met Kazuha before. Strange, I was just about to ask about the island. You've been to the island before, just not in my canon!
旅はやはり前もって計画を立ててはならぬ。心のままに行動するのが得策でござる。
気に入ってくれてよかったよ。お酒を飲みながら物語を楽しむ。縁っていうのはこういうことなんだろうね。さて、音楽に乾杯。 旅人も一緒に飲もうよ。安心して。飲めない人向けに。
Oh god, I just realized we have 3 people who have body
なら
counts
ばそれを一杯
plus
頼
plus a rock star.
む。うむ。
This seems like a fun
こ
party.
の色のものにしよう。
Oh,
あんちゃんが酔っ払っちまったぞ。風邪を飲んでたんじゃなかったのか？
飲むでござる。
あ、うっかりアルコールが入ってるやつを出しちゃったよ。ごめんね。おい。だいぶ飲んだことだし、そろそろ本題に入ろうか。何か大切な用事で僕に会いに来たんでしょ？そういえば、オイラたち飲みに来たわけじゃなかったぞ。
MNG, come with me. That did something to me. Kazuma, are you alive?
カズハ、カズハ。はあ、まだ目を覚まさない。
Paimon is emergency food. We have no idea. I call her a pixie. Good sir! Good sir! I'm already down bad! But yeah, no, I should be using Ganyu as much as I can because bestie, you're not staying for long. Because listen, I love Ganyu. She's an easy character for free to play. I think that she's just a random ass pixie, but also there's people pointing out weird inconsistencies with like the beginning of the story.
君たちも分かってると思うけど、あの手紙は間違いなくアリスさんが書いたものだよ。
Alice? Her mom? Again, I know a lot about things because again, I look up like the stories that I've missed, so that's why I know about like Zero Mission and all that, but yeah.
誰だと思う？
Honestly, if you want, later tonight I can go on Discord and actually talk about this with a clear head of like why I think this game needs to change everything. That is not free promotion, I just love going in Discord and ranting about it. Why would I play the bitch fucking highway read this shit? Probably. You're talking to the same people who the women's models, the boobs fucking jiggle when they move. Like, if you look at the older female models, especially Lisa, like, their chest fucking move. It is ridiculous.
面白い友達に出会ったらプレゼントをシェアするように言われたんだ。だからこれを君にあげる。
Like, I'm literally stuck on a quest, and that's a bomb. Traveler's face. Also, they finally made the Traveler more expressive, and I'm happy about that.
ほら、持っておいて。これを使うと離れていてもこうやって話ができるんだ。
Did she just make walkie-talkies? Did a child make walkie-talkie? Did a child just make a walkie-talkie?
連絡を取り合うことができるけど、いつでも使えるわけじゃない。
So we already know about like their skin tones, which again, I'm going to admit, Sumeru looks really fucking pretty, but also the artifacts are gorgeous. Like they are so pretty. But again, y'all gotta get your shit together with the skin tones. You cannot just make them tan, because out of almost 60 fucking characters, you only got 2 people who are dark skinned. And after you leave Mondstadt, they are never mentioned. Actually, scratch that. They are mentioned, but they are mentioned. Kaya and Klee. Kaya is mentioned in the Chasm quest, but not by name. But yeah. However, you cannot do that. Especially when we only have one concerned dark person and a place that is literally like mostly dark-skinned people. But again, I will give them to it, like their like the Persian culture that they have in Sumeru is really fucking on point. A lot of people are funny that, but like please give us darker skin tones for the love of all things fuck. Again, Namakaya, after you get him in his quest, he's fucking gone. Like, he is not mentioned. Like, it is literally just Venti, Jean, and Diluc, with the occasional, like, other characters. Well, no, Kaya's also mentioned in Diluc's, fucking quest. That was a smooth-ass transition.
カズハはまだ
Oh,
熟
he's
睡
a
中だぜ。お酒に弱いみたいだな。シエン、オイラたちと
Yeah, like, here she is. Like, she is so pretty, but again,
冒険ならぬ。
行きたくないのか？さっきまで興味津々だったの
oh,
に。
okay.
この機会を逃してならぬ。
Ray sent me the English for this because, again, me and Ray are on Genshin TikTok, and oh fuck, but okay.
ちゃんと新しい
Like,
もの
she
に
is
興味を
so,
持つ
like,
若者だったんだ
Xingyan
な。
is such pretty, like, I love her design,
果汁とお酒の区別
but
が
her
つかなく
kit
なっちまったんだ。
sucks.
それなら絶対島に行くべきだよ。
Like, no one, she's like on the bottom, like, tier of main characters.
美しい景色があるんだ。
Kaya's the only cute, cool
じゃあ
one.
決まりだな。
There's a bunch of other cool characters. Like, Jean is really a cool character, because again, she's a good healer.
今回は他の友達
Diluc is a good DPS, but again, he's bulky.
縄文に集合して全員揃ったら出発するんだ。
旅人？
そうだ。こいつらまだフィッシュルを知らなかったよな。異国の高貴な工女も。
I know he didn't say red, I know he said traveler, but fuck me. Yeah. You can get the characters. Amber, Lisa, and Kaya are like intro characters that you like are basically handed. No, it is Amber, Kaya, Barbara, and Lisa are the 4 free characters you get from the game. You get Barbara a little bit after like the side quest thing, which is basically just like the 4. So you basically have your archer, your catalyst, your sword, and another catalyst. You can still play them. Don't you simp for them? Yes I do. I also simp for a lot of the lead characters. So yes, but fuck. Yeah, you should not have out of 60 plus characters, only have 2 characters that are dark skinned. You come too, Venti? Like what, stealing alcohol from Diluc? He's gonna steal alcohol from the vineyard. Aren't you allergic to cats?
ああ、そう。女性がいるあの酒場。猫アレルギーじゃなかったのか？うん。だけど屋上で歌えるから大丈夫。
I always sing on the
相手
roof.
に勝てたらお酒1ヶ月分をくれるんだって。
Oh, yeah,
こ
right.
んないい
Who's the
話
Pepsi character?
僕にうってつけだよね。だから僕のことは気にせず。
Oh, Hazo! Yes, he is! I have him! Motherfucker hits like a truck. He is better at level 60 than majority of the 4-star characters, especially with the 4-piece of your lessons. Holy shit, this motherfucker hits like a truck. I want. Where is he? There he is. I don't have him though yet. How get? Have you got to wishing yet? Have you got the wish option? My Twitter just went off my phone. Like, he hits like a truck. Stream also might break. There's lag. Waiting for the camera to go out. Alright, no, yep, there it goes. Oh. Okay. So when you go here, is this button here. I get to update Chrome. Oh shit. Because you click here, Kazuo's banner should pop up. And then you can wish for him here. But also once this banner goes away, he's just gonna go smack dab here. He's also so fucking flirty. I hate it, but at the same time, I enjoy it. I'm not taking this. And so I really don't. Dude, fucking, Wayward called me Abigail because we were playing Stardew, and she just said, "Oh, you look like Abigail from Stardew," and I literally stopped what I was doing. Also, we're gonna go see the bard because he actually is on the roof. Where's the cat? I know he's on the roof. I just don't know where. And I hate climbing off that. Cat? He's at the... Is this it? No, that's Gun Hunter. Where is it? He's on the roof! I thought someone had a quest. I was about to be like, good sir, I finished all of the Mondstadt quests. Leave me the fuck alone. Also, I don't want to skip time, so I'm literally just gonna go hang on roofs looking for a bard. Where the fuck is he? Loaf on the roof. Loaf is actually sleeping in the other room, and again, I have a rule. I do not disturb Sleepy Kitty. Because he will murder my soul. Unless I'm looking in the wrong fucking place for where the hell this cat place is. Okay, that's a lamb. Loaf is Pog. Loaf is best Pog. Literally, so... someone, it was fucking Ray. Ray made a group chat on Twitter. Menti, where the fuck are you? Cause the cat, yeah, this is it. Yep, the Cat Tavern. Bitch! I just clicked on settings by accident. Bitch! Oh, this Pug volunteer. Goddamn! I just want to see the bard on the roof, man! Yeah, he ain't there. So 8 to 10, going on the roof. Hello, Miss Robot Catherine. Actually, I want to see if I can get her to do the weird robot thing. Oh, fuck me. There we go. I might block, but I want to see if I can get it. But did Love teleport outside? He does not go outside. It was one of my other cats. And I was like, how the fuck did you go outside? Because I thought he was inside and both my parents were asleep. So I went to open the door and he booked it to the door. But again, I can't let him in because he won't go outside. Also, he's an outside cat. Don't yell at me for letting a cat outside. He's literally murdered birds before. Alright, cool. Go to the city gate. I'm at the city gate. They're there. Oh, I didn't see Venti on the roof. That's kind of sad and depressing, but they're there. So one of my cats teleported. I love how dramatic her ass is. Did she just say retribution, which is a D-Luke line? Retribution is a D-Luke line. It's one of his bursts. Yeah, that's D-Luke's constellation. I pay way too much attention to this fucking game. I've been debating it. Like, I've honestly been debating just applying for it now. But at the same time, I'm just like, but I want numbers. but I want to.
リーユエの才能あふれる先駆ミュージシャンだ。よ、あたいはリーユエの支援。ロックミュージックといい天気、それに楽しいことが大好きだ。きっとこの
But also, I don't want to do taxes, man.
ここから来た皇女様なんだろ。見た目だけですごいってわかるぜ。それからそこの帽子をかぶったレディー。
We're pointy hats.
最も博識な学者は大抵とんがり帽子をかぶってるって聞いた。あんたもそうなんだろ。ん？この女、見る目がある。深淵、あなたのその目は夜の霧を見破り、真実を見極める。
Ow.
まさに私が必要としている人材ね。いいわ。私配下の音楽家にしてあげる。
Oh yeah, because she talks about one of her lines that she's outcast and people look at her like she's different. My baby! No, my baby! You're gonna use that Prime sub on me? God, the day I get affiliate is damn just like, yes, Prime. Give me your Prime. His voice hits so different. Oh, also, I'm sorry to everyone who doesn't know this, but Teppei and Eizu shame the same voice actor, so enjoy that piece of knowledge. So imagine him talking. Being here to get a Prime. Honestly, I got a message a couple days ago being like, you paid like your sub amount to YouTube, and I was like, God damn it, I'm still paying for a sub fee even though this man is gone. But again, I can't say anything. There's others who spend more. AK Jork not found. Wait, what? Sorry. My ring that's just sitting in the box because I need to go get it repaired. He's one of the best DPS in the game. That's not his constellation, that's D-Luke's! I am a simp for this man. I'm a simp for this man cold-heartedly. He's also a simp for the Traveler! All of the Animal Boys have saved the Traveler at least once, minus Heizo, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter. We'll see that soon. But every single one of them has saved the Traveler in some way, shape, or form. Also, my skirt got fucked. Also, we doing the witchy vibes again? Please stop calling me that witchy. Also, I am down bad for so many characters. Dude, I'm sorry, you missed me spending $40 on a skin. I spent $40 on D-Luke's skin. I really hope my parents don't say that. I mean, what? I didn't spend $40 on a skin. What are you talking about? Can I actually get this skin? There we go. Nice gold color. The fuck is that? Like, hold up. For people thinking I'm not wrong, I do not have it, but I have a skin, which was $40. Because high ponytail D-Luke is chef's kiss. Okay, back to the actual game. But what the fuck is that? What is that? I do not give a fuck about your birds. What the fuck is that? What is that? That mode is like, what the fuck is this? But you know, if he streams that, Prime's gonna vanish faster than my dad. Goddamn. Yeah, I had a feeling. Oh.
万民堂の不思議な生き物のことでござるか？そう言われてみれば確かに。
紹介したオイラが 言うのもなんだけど、こんなんじゃ島にたどり着けなさそうだ。ふん。理解したわ。なるほど。なるほど。世の果てまで落ちてこそ神聖夕夜
I don't
城
have
に
that
到
command set
達
up.
できるということね。聖なる雷に焼かれた扉
Oh,
とは
there. Dude, I need to get 9 bots. I'm actually. Oh, I'm banned from actually using a bot, and I don't know why.
オズよ、道を切り開きなさい。
先陣を切るのは私です。
The
お嬢様は動かれませんので。
入ったら消えた。これは
Oh, you've been suffering with my ass for a year.
念のため私が占ってみます。メギストス教。これは
Oh, no, someone's been following me longer than even I started streaming. I just mentioned I wanted to stream.
そうでした。忘れてしまうなんて。まあいいでしょう。
Oh, fuck. So mine. This thing looks absolutely terrifying. Totoro!
暗いぞ。誰か明かりをつけてくれよ。
Bitch,
ゆっく
shit.
り進みましょう。ああ、フィッシュル、私の髪を踏まないでください。ヘビじゃなかったの？うわあ、起き上がってきたぜ。
みんな気をつけるでござる。
This is pogged out. Funny enough, my camera came back on before anything else, and I was like, damn. Okay. Be back. Whoa!
美しい場所でござるな。風と海、そしてこの穏やかさ。風の匂いも心地よい。
Oh, I have to hunt this island down because I want Fischl's skin. Because she has a really pretty skin. Totoro! Klee's been here. Because this screams. This is Klee.
この海を見た瞬間、オイラもいい
She
気
was
分
so
になったぞ。
excited. Crab.
生命の海、青の大地。お嬢様、ついにラクドにたどり着きましたね。夕夜浄土を復活させるには十分な場所です。
進化諸君、これぞ私が長年求めていた粛清の楽園。さあ、因果集結の降臨を見届けるのよ。闇を支配するこの私が諸君を夢の扉へと導く。
Also, Fischl be fucking dying. Okay, talk to her.
さあ、夢の扉へ。大魔導士メギストス、皇女殿下のお恵みに感謝します。私は今日ここにて夕夜浄土へ
Look at
祝
them!
福を捧
They're like,
げ
what
ま
the
す。
fuck are we listening to?
それにあんたら一体。
Again, I know people love Mona, and I know that she's like a great person to have on your party, but fuck her! She's made me lose so many 50-50s. She is my Chi-Chi. I fucking despise her. I will not touch her, I will not build her. What flower is this in the background? Man gets right into it.
皆の喜びは私
Oh,
の
did
喜
she hit like
び。
semi truck? Amen.
このような天命を尊奉する機会に 皆を招くことができて大変嬉しく思っているわ。これより巡礼の旅に出かけ、身をもって
I saw that. I saw that. I saw something I can collect on the ground.
何せここはどうあっても私の魂の帰る場所なのだから。けれどそれに対してメギストス卿、あなたは水元素から生まれた高貴な人物と言われる割に魂の不純物が多
Dude, I want ramen.
お嬢様は
Oh shit, my ring is stuck to the...
メギストス卿がやや劣るかもしれないとおっしゃっています。
Collectibles remind me of Until Dawn.
フィッシュル、
Really do.
あなたにはもう我慢できません。普段あなたに合わせて芝居をするのは構いませんが、天才
I've made a grave
私を見
mistake.
下してはいませんか？
Let's not break the
泳い
ring,
であなたに負けるわけが
please,
ない
and
です
thank
よ。
you.
おお、お嬢様の闘志が燃えてきました。
いいぞ、正々堂々勝負だ。
Last... Bitch literally can turn into water! Ramen, I want ramen now. Whoopsie.
その調
Yeah,
整
that's a... I'm
うま
pretty
く
sure.
立ちましょう。メギストス卿、
She can li-
あなた
There,
ごと
that's a
きに
waypoint.
私
That's
も
a
挑む
waypoint, ladies and gentlemen. I see that.
その愚かさを悔いることになるわよ。無駄口はよしてください。私は子供の頃から泳ぎで負けたことがないんです。
Mona can literally fast travel in water.
どちらが先に海までたどり着けるか勝負です。
Also, fun fact, when Sumer comes out, I'm going to be streaming that, because I will most likely be in school, I think. Yeah, in 40 days, I'm probably going to be in
海
school.
まで走るってただの賭け
But
事
if
じゃない
not,
よ。
get ready for a very long stream, because I'm exploring the entirety. Just want ramen immediately.
お主は今空いてるか？
My bad!
周囲を見回って
My
おきたい
bad
のだが、付き合ってくれぬか？深淵殿も一緒に来るか？
Kazuha is an art major with a science minor, while Albedo is a science major with an art minor. Someone told me that's why I like him and Albedo a lot.
ちょっと出かけてくるんだろ。
How dare you
いい
short
景色が見つかったら、
person.
あたいにも教え
I'm
てくれよ
sorry,
な。
Chief. I didn't mean to do that.
じゃあ頼んだぞ。
Go to the island Kazuha mentioned. We get the boat. Also, where the fuck are we? Where the fuck are we? Oh, you a whole ass bitch. So there's 1, 2, 3. Oh. Oh no, I'm going for all the waypoints first. I'm a bitch. Give me my son. There he is. Get in. Oh shit. Fuck, I was not paying attention. Oh, I can collect that. Perfect. Gotta be honest, I'm not ruining this in forever. They see me boating. They hating. Why the fuck was that the first thing coming in my head? What the fuck? Alright, give me the love that needs to be here, because after I get Yoimiya, she's gonna be gone. I need to do official. Staying late for the event. Understandable. Have a good day. Oh, I'm gonna be spending an entire time finding these, aren't I? Please get off, thank you. Holy shit, they're everywhere! Fashion comment, thank you. Oh my god, I gotta keep on fucking going. Jesus Christ. She tall enough? Yes, she is. Oh, there's another one on top of the fucking mountain. That's fun. That's great. Fuck my life, I guess. We're gonna ignore... Check crash number 4. Nope. Cool. I could tell my stream was about to break because I saw my pin shoot up to 400. Oh, here we go. Not touch. I see the camera's out. It vanished again. I see it. I hate it, but I see it. I'm coming. Pit stop to grab all these. Also, from the amount of waypoints we're getting with Sumeru, oh, you bet your ass we're all gonna be rich as fuck. I do enjoy the music. I need to have a playlist that has Genshin. I need to add Genshin music to my my playlist. The fuck is that? The fuck is this? I don't know if I'm on.
道中注意して見ていたが、この用途のわからぬ装置と隣にある軍房以外に怪しいものは見当たらなかった。
Barbara.
ともかくこの島には明らかに誰かが滞在してい
Because
た
the
よ
only
うで
people
ござ
were
る。
here. No, a bunch of us were here last time.
ここ数日のものと思われる新
Mona?
しい足跡
Because
も見られ
Mona's
た。
here.
本当か？おいら
It
全
has to
く
be
気づかな
Mona.
かったぞ。
You okay?
Oh 旅人、パイモン。油断は禁物でござ
Oh
る。
shit.
どうしたんだ？何かあったのか？
誰かがここに来ていた。そしてかの者はまだ去ってはいない。匂いからして相手も遠来の客であるはずだ。
他にも誰かいるのか？
Forget what the fuck I just said. I don't know anything about this event. I literally did not look at any leaks. I've just been focusing on Sumeru
手が
leaks.
かりを探そうぜ。
Speaking of,
帽
is
子
there
に
any
水
leaks?
元素の力があるって言ってたよな。だったら
Dude,
元素
please.
力をたどってみようぜ。
I'm just looking at my phone. Please do not send me to death.
ついていきます。
かなり近い。警戒を強めるでござる。
Oh, he's cryo too. Fuck that. No. No! Fuck! Holy shit.
ご安心を。
Hold that for me. Thank you. Yes, he is.
行くぞ。ここだ。
Oh, he's almost dead. Yeah, y'all thought I was fucking. We're gonna hit 5. We back again. We back again. Are you fucking lying to me? Wait. Okay. Okay. Cool. I just realized my mic was plugged to something different for a hot second. Okay. Also, why was he crying? Cover streamer crashes harder than I'm gonna crash. Get me bent over. Haha, it's gonna happen. But why is he crying? Quiet comfort streamer personnel. My god. You return the cap to the Fatua.
こいつなんだかあまり賢くなさそうだな。
Hey, leave him alone! I like him. Who the fuck are
また
you?
ファジョイか？それはこっち
Nah, this is the only Fatui agent that I don't want to strangle. He's chill. But also...
ちゃんと守るんだ。でないと兄さんに怒られる。その帽子に抱きつくのはもうやめろ。まずはお前の兄さんを探し出すのが優先だろうが。
fuck.
そのものはどうしたのでござるか。
God, that's a Russian name if I've ever seen
なん
one.
でもない。病気で少し熱があるせいでたわごとを言っているだけだ。お前らに説明する義理などない。帰れ。
ここはオイラたちの友達の島だから気をつけた方がいいぜ。
ああ、ここは無人島じゃなかったのか。俺たちはここに。
No, no, keep telling. Keep telling. I'm probably gonna have to I'm gonna be honest, I'm probably gonna have to shank the fuck out of Dotsuri. And Sumeru. He's probably gonna become a weekly boss. But I don't think he's going to become a playable character. Because this man fucking despises visions with a burning passion. Yes, hi, I read the webtoon. I know this man. Also, he had a fucking glow up, which Ray is freaking the fuck out about. God, we came here this fucking... He sounds so Russian. Yeah, no, only Futui agent I don't want to strangle. The other Futui I want to strangle in a heartbeat. He's okay in my book.
ところでその装置どうして煙が出てるんだ？
それはこのガラクタがぶっ壊れちまったからだ。言いたかないが、実はテストがうまくいかなくて、もともと撤退するつもりだったんだ。
なんだ。じゃあ早く行けよ。
おい、行くぞ。
Only Fatui I respect.
まったくせっかくの休暇なのに
Bitch, we don't get
出会う
vacations.
なんて
ファデュイがこのような偏僻な島に現れるとはことはそう単純ではない気がするでござる。休暇中とはいえ常に警戒を怠らぬように。またあちらの女子たちの機嫌を損ねないために拙者から一つ提案
Oh, he's the only guy here. I just remembered.
この件は当分の間心に留めておこう。注意や警戒が必要なことについては旅人と拙者が責任を持って対応する。
カズハは思いやりがあるんだな。
過方でござるよ。拙者はただせっかくの休暇がつまらぬことに邪魔されないことを願う。
I'm down bad for him,
理
aren't
系
I?
の前に皆には幸せな気分でいてもらいたい。
Not because of the stream. I was about to be like, damn, I'm kind of hurt. I'm kind of hurt. Return to camp. I don't want to. I don't want to. I want to explore. This. Wait, that seems cool. Stream is fun. I'm still hurt. I'm in such a weird position right now. I'm boring. Is there stairs here? I swear to God. There fucking is, isn't there? Ouch, look at that. I'm kind of stupid. My phone just buzzed. Also, it's so funny that now I'm like telling my parents, I'm like, yeah, I'm streaming, and they're like, alright, have fun streaming. I'm like, this feels weird. Why did I keep this for so long? Or are you fuck supportive? Air's gonna get in crap rape. Fuck. I'm in the middle of something. I'm too lazy to fix it. Oh fuck. My mouse moved at like the wrong time. Where's the last one? Oh, why the fuck are you all the way over there? Give me that chest!
宝箱を残した人も契約に従ったのでしょうか。
Did it come on just to go back out again? Really? There we go. Alright. I'm back. Come on. The fuck is this?
なんだこれ。尖ったと。でも。
Excuse me, what did I just find? Wait, oh my god, there's multiple. I'm just exploring, cause I'm bored. And as much as I want to do this quest, it seems a lot more interesting. If I land here in Fatui, I'm screaming and I'm booking it. No, there's chest here. I don't trust it. I don't think I was supposed to find that. But thank you for the primo gems. I see the chest. I don't want to deal with it. Is that a fucking Sealy? No. No, but I do need this for Miko. Well, that's good. This is very fun and interesting. Welcome to Genshin! They can have interesting lore! But again, they only have it for like a couple days. Back it up, back it up. Fucking Zoomy. Actually, I'll deal with them later. Cause I have to come back anyways, cause I have to find. Is that also just, that's also just a common chest. Cause I have to come back anyways and find the seashells for Fischl's new skin. Cause it is a very pretty skin. How's your day been, Eric? It's actually been really well. Who the fuck are you? Go, 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 go. I'm not dealing with that bitch. Fuck! It's shallow. Beep, 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 beep. I'm not dealing with her. Beep, beep. Beep, beep. No better, so nice. Yeah, 100%. It was the more of, yes, I'm feeling incredibly burnt out and I don't want to stream. And it's called mental illness and fuck you, you bitches. Yeah, I will look for all the seashells later. Okay, goddamn. Bitch, I said I will look for them later! Never feel obligated to stream. That's what I tell myself, but at the same time, brain kind of goes, Yeah, I tried not to. Oh, I was like, am I going the wrong way? I'm going the right way. We coming! We almost there! The fuck is this? Hi, friends.
チョック15ソーランド行こう
無駄だ
Albedo was here.
悪くない品だ
2. Huh? Holy shit! That gives you 80? That gives you 80? Oh, we're about to hit 5, I'm pretty sure. I refreshed my stream manager and my bitrate is in the fucking red. Oh my god. My stream should not be functioning. Air's gone. No. At least the stream didn't crash.
ちょうどいいところに来てくれました。旅人、ハイモン。あなたたちは私とフィッシュル。
Oh,
どち
okay.
ら
I
が
see
泳
what's
ぎ上手
happening.
だと思いますか？遠慮なく 私の名を
I'll
口
go
に
with
するが
whoever
よ
the
い。
fuck Paimon says the winner
フ
is.
ラなんだよ。それってオイラが決めろってことか？
パイモン殿は人を見る目がありますから、誰が真の勝
Why
者
the
なの
fuck
か
did they give
見
the
極
bird
め
the
られる
deep
に
voice?
違いありませんぞ。
We're not sense.
パイモン殿、私に忠誠を誓う時が来たよね。ちょっと待って、その前にパイモンに何か食べさせてあげようぜ。長い間出かけてたからきっと腹ペコなんだ。
She's Paimon's favorite person.
確かに長い距離であった。
だろ？あんたらが出かけている間、海辺で海鮮を釣って果物を取ってたんだ。
Why
火で炙ると
Whoa,
き
this
っと
guy's
美
pretty
味しく
though.
なるぜ。
Alright, we gotta turn on the other light.
So
I have actually
evil.
not turned on my both my LED lights in such a
少しお腹が空いてきました。
long time. This is literally only a streaming thing.
私もたくさん用意したから一緒に食べようぜ。店をやってる料理人の友達にはかなわねえけどさ、
There we go.
お腹を満たすには十分だと思うんだ。食べようぜ。
信玄殿を島に招いたのは間違いなく賢明な判断でし
You
た
can see the
な。
monster cans, which are actually
もう
leaning
食べ
more.
るぞ。お前らは腹すかせながら
I don't know why my voice changed.
あー、バーベキューの香り。
Short air pog? I'm small. Every time you say I'm short, I'm now just gonna stand next to my door.
悪くないわ。
今日は信玄殿が夕げを作ってくれた
I
ゆ
am
え、
small.
明
I
日の
know
朝げは
this.
拙者が作るでござるよ。
I am small. I can take it no longer. I am small. I have books I forgot about. Okay, I have a shit ton of books I forgot about that are chilling here. Okay, I did get this book. Perfect. Y'all want to see? Y'all want to see the books I bought?
よっしゃ
Outfit pop. We got the witchy vibes. I was gonna wear pants, but I was like,
ー。そう
fuck
だ
it, skirt.
旅人。
Cause again,
一つ
it
忘れ
is
て
hot.
ないか？近くで話そうぜ。
Yeah, this is where Atlas' tweet was. I left. He lost me in a bookstore because he did. So I bought. I bought We Hunt the Flames and We Free the Stars, which is a series that I've been wanting to read but couldn't get. Imagine losing it at a bookstore. Dude, the shelves are okay. Again, I'm short. Like, I will now agree to that. But he like lost me because I went Zoom. Also, they did not have the hard copy of this, which is really sad. So I got paperback, but also these are the last two copies. And then I got funny enough, the Atlas 6, because this popped up on the table that they had, and I saw this pop up on my Instagram. And it is witchcrafty, and the fucking art in this is gorgeous. And then I have other books that I bought my last trip, that I have not put away. Which, of course, I have 2 lesbian books. No, like, he straight up, like, lost me. I, like, disappeared from his peripheral. Did I just get stuck on a table? Contact Venti? You want me to contact a god? Okay.
お前もファデュイのことを気にしてるんだろ？原油野郎からもらった
The bomb? Dude, it's a fucking walkie-talkie at this point.
あれを使えば連絡が取れるぞ。ああ、いや、爆弾じゃなくてドド通話機だった。
Totoko communication device.
聞いてみないか？あいつは情報通だし、重要な手がかりが。
Please tell me you're not
ほら
drunk.
もう僕に会いたくなったのかい？
Fuck!
こんな方法で僕と連絡を取れるのは
Just stubbed my
君だけだ
toe.
よ。
That's karma for making fun of
くしゃ
me.
みしてたよな。
Fuck it, I'm turning this green. Do I have a very light green
たくさ
option?
んいるんだよ。オーナーがアレルギーの薬をくれたんだけ
Actually,
ど
wait.
あまり効かなくて。はあ、さてどうしたんだい？僕に何が聞きたいの？
Bitch, I do all the work! I love Lamine's face.
しょうがないやつだな。原油やろう。オイラたち。
What is
この
happening
島
outside?
で
There's
ファ
a
デ
bunch
ュイ
of
と会っ
people.
たんだ。
I
な
am
んか
karma.
変だろ？ファデュイってどこにでもいるんじゃない？
Alright, that's probably the light green. I'm gonna get it because I can do many buttons
ど
with
こに
this.
出てきた
So
って
yeah.
不思議じゃないよ。でもこんなとこに出てきたらオイラたちの
Yeah, I don't know. I've actually honestly, like, speaking back on, because this has been on my mind.
でも聞いた
I've
感じ
been honestly thinking of applying, even though I don't want to, in a sense of like,
問題はもう
yeah, like I have my mindset, but at the same time, I'm like,
そうなんだけどやっぱりどこかおかしいと思うんだ。
it's affiliate sounds
だ
nice.
からお前に聞こうと思って何か手がかりはないのか？ファデュイの情報は入ってないよ。でも大丈夫さ。僕は銀融詩人だけど必要ならいつでも連絡していいよ。
I need to do a test run beforehand to see like how it's gonna react, because I don't know how green will react to this, because it's just going on the top and then I'm gonna do more silver on the bottom. Because as much as I really like the purple, I look so much like Virtually Next. I looked in the mirror and I was like, God damn.
だから怖がる必要もない。風は陸を通り過ぎたら海の上も通っていくでしょ。白い雲が浮かぶところには、じゃあおしゃべり
I will be back. I'm gonna go.
僕はキャッチテイルで演奏しないと。
She is another streamer. She's a partner streamer on Twitch who does story times. She was the one who did the cancer charity event that I was a part of, or that I donated a bunch to. Oh, speaking of, please wear. I just remember this. Wear yellow on the 20th, cause it is a certain cancer awareness, and so if you want to be a part of it, please wear yellow on July 20th. I just remembered that. That popped in my head because I was looking at my email was open. Because it just reminded me. Yeah. I need to use the bathroom. Crash 5? Fuck! I'm getting yellow hoodie. He's here. Ah, Scoochie chair. Ah. I got a loaf. We back. Perfect timing. A loaf is here. Go see your friends. Hi. He just chilling. The real content has arrived. He has. The loaf has arrived. Oh, big yawn. He has so many crazy colors on him. Alright.
まあ銀融野郎がああ言うんだ。おいらも変なことが起こらず旅が無事に終わることを祈るぜ。
Hi.
友達との旅なんだ。楽しまないとな。
Hi. Oh, don't go on the computer. Oh, if you lay down on the computer, it's over. That hurt. Sushi, I cannot see. Buddy, I can hear Josh jumping. Hi. Oh, bye-bye. Hello? Okay.
こんな風に暇を持て遊ぶことになるとは笑えるな。
Loaf is basically the cat of my community that everyone will risk. Wait, is that it? Huh. I still need to I'm so close to beating this. Huh. Alright, that's everything. I don't care. I'll be an idiot. I don't care. I think we've all come to the conclusion we will all risk our soul for sushi. I love how Oz is actually incredibly large. But okay. Let's go to that one island. I'll call you short in person. Let's head back to this island and collect all the seashells that are there. I don't want to turn on my lamp because I look really disgusting, but also... yeah, fuck it. I need to move the mat my chair is under. Turn on lamp. No, because I look disgusting. Also, it's angled weird. Also, I did not turn on my lamp once during the week stream. I think I turned it on just to see how, like, it would look. My video's a little behind, so I just see me fucking up with my hair. And then it going out. There we go. Alright, I put it up so it's not as bad. Alright, Gani, you're the exfoliator. You are only here for like a couple more days. Because as much as I love you and you were my second 5-star, Yoimiya is slightly better. You don't look disgusting. No, because there would be sometimes I would turn on my lamp, and again, I have horrible skin. Bitch, get off of there. There has to be an easy way. Fuck, I forgot there's a Fatui nearby. Give me all of these, the fox bitch will appreciate it. Oh, stream's gonna go down. Nope, we good. Oh, shit. Hair is gone. I look like a fucking vampire. Skin can't be that bad. No, my skin is horrible. Give me the teleporter. Give me the primos. Oh, there's dandelions here. Air's back. I'm back. But yeah. Yeah, I got an email today, and I was like, oh, this is not gonna make me sob. Reads the very last thing, almost sobs while I'm eating. Went off to do loaf things. Loaf things are literally sleep and get cuddles. That is literally loaf things. Oh, I have a story. So again, we all know I have a stray cat named Stormy who likes to come like visit my house. He is hated by both Chowie and Shibber, who are my two big older cats. And so Stormy was outside, you know, doing just Stormy things. And he runs into Chowie while he's outside. Which again, I really don't mind. It's Chowie. They get into fights all the time. But Mr. Gucci decided to be a fucking menace and book it outside when we open the door. Give me the dandelion seeds. And so he is just chilling on our patio until Stormy decides to get a little bit closer. And then he's like, nah, bitch. I don't want to treat but makes you cry. A lot of things. But yeah, so Gucci then proceeds to hightail his ass to where this cat is just chilling. And he stands in front of Stormy's. I mean, what email? Oh, it was the, I could probably pull it up. Oh no, it does. It goes to Air Venus. Never mind. This does not go to my personal. It was actually from the Sarcoma Foundation of America, which is where I did the donation. And if you scroll all the way to the bottom, stand up to the Scaricoma Gala. Technoblade is one of the people who's getting the Courage Award honoraries. But yeah, and then it also has like the holy shit, I can do one of the races. No, I won't. I will not be there in time. But yeah. Quickly save something from the email. fine. I honestly don't mind. I'm fine being open with chat. I really do not mind. Do I really have to climb the fucking mountain? I don't want to climb the mountain! But if I have to, I will. Bitch, hippity hoppy, get the fuck off the mountain. Son of a bitch. I'm literally just like, how the fuck do I get up this mountain? That's how. I've almost streamed for 2 fucking hours, so what the fuck? Where'd the time go? Hippity hop. Bitch. Hippity hoppity, let me climb uppity. Shit. I don't know any of you, I'm just some bitch that appears. Speaking of, I'm pretty sure Ray actually has called you a bitch in a joking manner. I know the context. Without context, it seems insane. But it's hilarious context. Oh my god. Give me the bard. Give me the bard. Sorry. Ray called me a bitch. we were fucking around on Twitter, and Ray just casually goes, out of me, Wayward and Atlas, she's the only one you don't follow. And I just made the joke being like, huh. Maybe it's because they don't know you. Do not take me off of this fucking branch. Stream's going down. Did you cross? Bitch, you are fine. Shut the fuck up. Karen will come back.
嫌なことを思い出してしまった。
I abused Venti's ult so fucking much. I interacted them. Ray just thought it was funny. V, I understand. V is just like, I'm never on Twitter. I literally just have Twitter just to have it. I see one. If I fall, it is game over. Goddamn. But also, what the fuck did I do? I've never seen this. Oh my god. He's in his natural habitat.
こんな風に暇をもてあそぶことになるとは笑えるな。
Bitch, all I want is the seashell. Wait, did I get it? Okay, cool. I got it. Okay. I got the shell. So I don't actually have to physically put only ones I respect. you respect Wayward a little bit less because they're British. Where is the shiny shell? Where is the shiny? Yes. Here you are. We're gonna hit 10, and the only reason I'm saying this is because it has happened. This has happened before, where I don't stream for a while and Genshin breaks. All right, so I got the shell that was up here, and again, why am I getting backstory on Fatui? Again, I'm just looking for shells. Some terrify me. Dandelions. Why is there dead birds? Why? Okay, I accept it. Okay. So I have collected 2, and I have another. Dude, I want this official skin. I've missed out on getting Ningguang's skin before.
Kaze yo.
They have free healthcare and confirmed rights. Honestly. Oh, speaking of, I literally have to waiver my healthcare for my school again, which is annoying because I'm like, damn, can't y'all just keep my file? I really don't want to have to, every time I have to go back, I have to reapply to waiver your healthcare for mine. Oh, it's right there. Wow, I'm a blind bitch.
待った。一体どうなってる？順番は確か。
So I got a voice dialogue, and it looks like, did I get all the ones on this island?
行くぞ。
I'm on I don't think I have any here. Yeah, I'm making their tweets or replies. I'm gonna tell Ray that. We're just gonna keep on playing. I do not want to complete these things. Oh, I'm doing these off stream. Hell no. Hell no. Oh, actually, it's here. There's a bunch. Teleport. Go ahead. No, dude, my brain's... Okay, no, she's over here. Okay, cool. Ah, fucking mountains I have to climb.
Zaharu, 無理しなくていいわ。
That's a
ほ
female's
ら、
voice.
あそこに洞窟がある。そこで少し休みましょう。
My face. I have to be careful because I know that there's a female Fatui agent somewhere here. So I'm being careful because I don't want to fuck with her. This is pretty as shit. Oh my god. Yo, this is pretty. Ray's just sitting in the corner kicking herself. Also, Ray changed her bio on Twitter and I was laughing so hard. This character has my friend's name. Oh no. Oh no. I'm pretty sure she has her thing of like I'm a lesbian. I'm just a witchy lesbian graphic design student. Leave me alone. I'm learning art on my own. It's funny because Ray is a graphic design student. But she has not learned anything else. Bitch, do not fucking die here. You are not allowed to. I think I saw it. Oh, I do. I see it. I see it. It's over there. Alright, cool. Alright, up we go. Get Ray's profile. I'll just ask you instead. I will pull it up. Her thing is, I'm just a witchy lesbian that happens to be a graphic design student. Let me learn how to draw on my own. But then her like location is stalking art that inspires me. Which is funny, because me and her follow the same artist. And bestie.
Agasha.
いいのよ。リンゴを4つ見つけたから。
しかし。
大丈夫。ザハル。任務は私に任せて。
No, she didn't block artists because I'm blocked. She blocked me. Because I'm blocked. How? I'm pretty sure she just blocked everyone that was like... I don't know. I think she just blocked everyone that was following like certain streamers. Hello? Oh, don't tell me this app. What the fuck is happening? Hey. What happened? That's some dedication. No, I'm pretty sure there's like something that you can do that mass blocks people. But yeah, I'm blocked. I'm blocked. It's only on my main account too, which is where I follow majority of streamers. So she probably had to block, like, mass block people. Because that's what I was talking about. I don't know if I still have the screenshot, and I'll still look if I'm still blocked. But yeah, no one else is. It's only me. Yeah, I'm blocked. I'm gonna quote your reply to a certain tweet. I'm very interested. I know what tweet that is. I immediately know what tweet it is. Oh my god, I immediately know what tweet it is. Oh, I know why she blocked me. I know why she blocked me. I know why she blocked me, because I followed Dream. I'm literally exploring. What's this? Dude, I'm too curious in this game for my own good. No, the day Sumeru comes out is the day I'm gonna be like a fucking child. I'm gonna be like, what's this? What's this? But also my computer's gonna cry. There it is. I was like, where's the teleporter? Good. Give me free. Oh, I'm good jelly bean looking motherfucker. It has happened to so many people. I see it. I see shiny. My brain's just like, I see something shiny. I see something shiny. Wait a second. So everything is fucked. Oh no. Oh. Oh no. They're spirits. I think they're spirits. I just hit my mic by accident.
行くぞ。
I'm gonna hate my. Where is she? I'm pretty sure they're spirits. Yeah. Oh, believe me, I know. Atlas Wayward texted me one morning, and she was like, "Why did I just get spammed on Twitter?" Do not make me feel emotional. Oh, shit. Do not make me feel emotions towards Fatui. Do not. Camera went out, and I really don't mind for it. Time to go exploring. Duda, duda, please swim fucking faster. Okay. Zoomy, bitch. Zoomy. Tweets reply, do not resist. Also, it's funny because my Twitter is even like screaming. Also, I love that's a Ruin Guard. 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 Nice. Okay. Which I know, it's literally right over there, but I don't have a care for. I could probably swim there, but I'm not risking drowning. Summon the boy. Yeah, fuck it, let's go. Hey, buddy. Oh, you son of a bitch. Oh, I hit him! No. Oh, you son of a bitch. God, I love them together. This is a fun team comp, I'm not gonna lie. Ah! I'm so sorry to my friends. Oh, come on, is he down? No. I love they do not do that much damage anymore. I used to be afraid of these fucks. Yeah, take that from me really quick. Why is there so fucking many? Why is there so many? Who the fuck died here? If I get these all.
お前は俺たちの中で栄誉を最も多く手に入れた人だろう。ヤーコブ。いつになったら栄誉に気づくんだ。みんなを巻き込んですまなかった。
Oh yeah, these are Russian.
だが F か。
Okay, good to know. That confirms my suspicion. that Sejnaya is Russia. That confirmed that hard. Hilly troll. Oh, fuck me. Here, finish this last sentence. It's ADHD. I really do not finish sentences.
ここだ。
くそ、あいつ。
Oops, sorry.
これ以上
Dude,
探しても
I've
しょうがない
mentioned, like, I'll rewatch streams and be like, wow, I lost my train of thought fast. I don't want to fight that thing. No, fuck that. I hate those things. You know, I will never forget how my ADHD was fucking, like, discovered, because I went to go get a physical for school, and my doctor, because I switched doctors, realized, like, I would not stop moving. Oh, son of a bitch. And he was like, have you ever been tested for ADHD? And I was like, no, but I have a feeling I have, like, it. And so I got tested. And then he was like, oh yeah, no, you have ADHD. And I'm no longer on medication because they fucked up my prescription the first time. No. Stay. Bitch, if I hit the button, that lets me get the... Bitch, if I hit the button, that lets me fucking get out the mountain. Let me get off the fucking rock! Okay, I might have to pull the Bard out. The Bard that has literally no artifacts. I also love how, besides these four, and slightly them, like a couple of characters, no one else is built. No one has artifacts. But there's a couple that are gonna get built. Because if we look here, a bunch of people, no, it's not here, but a bunch of people don't. But motherfucker hits like a truck and it's so funny. He just goes pop. Yeah, I need the Bard for this. I pitched there go burr. I pitched there go burr.
ウォーミングアップしよっか。よいしょ。
I love having Venti just for exploration because it's so funny. And my fucking camera's out.
一緒に遊ぼうよ。
Hippity hoppity, I don't think I'm gonna make this. Jingle sound he makes is so nice. Air's back, Pog. Hi. Yeah. So there's a bunch of hilly trolls here. I need to fucking read these.
よいしょ。
I don't know how. We've come to the conclusion that I don't know how not to be. Haha! Found the bitch. what the fuck happened here? Fuck! Huh? You're telling me I got sniped by Dendro? I'm not Shao, so if I plunge, I die. So she's that. I love how I just accept free fall. They're older baseless. I'm gonna be honest, most of my fictional crushes are like mass murderers, which is even funnier. No, hold up. You can't bully me for killing this motherfucker. This motherfucker here got on the kin list. Yes, I have barely played with him, but he made it onto the kin list. Because of one line Ray sent me, because Ray and I both just vibe on TikTok. Yeah, I was about to be like, need to get... That motherfucker is cool. Fact! But also... I don't know if it's here. But yeah, a young prodigy detective from the Tenryou condition is sent to sharp and his thoughts are clear. Mine are not.
逃げようとする犯人を優れた頭脳で捕まえる偶然っていい言葉だよね。まるで運命によって定まったって感じ。でも残念ながら探偵は最後の最後で武力を使って抵抗する人がいるんだよね。
No, I don't have it, but there's a line he says, and I'm like, God damn. The game really said, we going for you. Beep beep. He's Doomfist. Holy shit, he is. Said, hey, why you constantly? It's like 2 a.m. The bars are closing, time and how to rule I made. Anyway, you say too busy. Bombs away. Hey. Oh. Ah. Oh, I saw that too late. Oh, and there's a chest here? That means I don't have to fight y'all later. Die, please. Thank you. Hold that for me. Hey, hold the string. Thank you. I hate these motherfuckers. They are so annoying to fight. Why are you still here? Actually, bitch! Hold this ring. Hold the jellyfish really quickly. I love him. Give me that. Thank you. Give me all of this. Thank you. Give me that, even though I have a shit ton because I bought it from the store. Thank you. Oh, you damn simp. I think we come to the conclusion I can't. No, I think we've come to the conclusion I can't be bullied. Alright. Where is the next one? Oh, you were all the way over here. Voodoo teleports. We can talk about how the fact that I can't have a single hairstyle for more than a couple of minutes. Because I have dyed my hair so much that, like, even the process of, like, I don't have photos of all the hairstyles I did. Like, I cannot keep a single hairstyle, like, a single hair color. That's cool. I just became unbullyable. Y'all are some fruity ass bitches. Y'all are fruity. Continuing on my statement, y'all. Yeah, there you go. I'm hard to bully without being a bitch. I'm just gonna like that. Okay, so there's 14 set. How many do I have? There's 14. I need 4 more. So either stop being relatable or easy to hate so I don't feel like shit. Okay, I'm going in the right direction. Oh no, this is it. I saw it.
Agasha, しばらく休もうぜ。
I thought I saw it. I don't know who you are in your life. You know majority of it. Y'all are fucking... Y'all are not gonna make me... I hate all of you.
Ikuzo.
Huh? Oh. Oh, okay. Thanks, Chief. Hello? Y'all up. Get up there, please. Actually, okay, let me go find this main waypoint so then it's easier for me to travel and find everything. So, please. Because again, it is called all of the bad or embarrassing things I did when I was a child. Like again, we can either talk about how I've nearly been arrested, I've been put into handcuffs, Shiny rock, shiny rock. We can talk about how my crystal bitch. I can discuss how you and Alice are Sims insult you. We can talk about how I'm too much of a pussy to play horror games. There you go. That's something to bully me about. Unless you were talking about Poppy Playtimes, which I will never fucking play. Do we need the bard again? No. This should be simple to climb. The crystal bitch matches your style. It matches Ray's styles more than mine. Ray is an actual crystal bitch. I just have crystals. But I do want more. Because I think they're pretty. I don't think I'm gonna make up this. Can I talk about how I'm literally on Twitter while playing a game? Hey, yo, what the fuck? Ah! That explains it. Sorry. Someone just showed off their following. I just realized I've never actually finished playing Outlast on here. It was a reward. I never finished playing it. It's because I couldn't stream it after a while. Game broke, go home. Where are you? There you are. I never got for me. Wait, what? Okay, someone. The fuck? What is happening? I keep hearing random things. It can't be thunder. So what is happening? Hey, Pogmelon. But was it not? Okay, so I have this one collected. I need 2. Okay. And how many do I have? I need to collect 3 more. That works. There was. God damn it. The devil said, hey, why you coming this late? It's like 2 a.m. I have that song stuck in my head, and I've not listened to that song in forever. So I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry. That's actually a good ass song. No. Fun fact, when my power went out, that was the only song that my phone was playing. So I literally had the Devil Lives in Bargain stuck in my head while I didn't have power. But also, it does hit at night. It hits late at night. Bless me. That went down my shirt. That is not a comfortable feeling. Do I have everything unlocked? Yes, I do. Majority. The fuck is over here? The fuck? Dude, I'm curious. I will fucking get a boat and travel over here. What is over here? That shit's easy. Let me show you how. I did not unlock everything. Hold up. Bless you. Thank you. It's the only song that I played. God damn it. Whoopsie. I'm not responsible. They're gone. What the fuck? Let me back. Let me back. Let me in. Y'all are not making me do this. Y'all are not making me do this. God damn, y'all really said fuck that. Eric, come back. I'm back! I can't tell if those are fireworks or other things, but I do not see lights, so I'm gonna take what I'm seeing with a grain of salt. Give me those fucking give me those shits. So wait, how many do I have in total? Holy shit. Yay, the Dark Academia nerd is back. Dude, no, I have so many things on Etsy saved that are Dark Academia to buy. But also, I have to be careful when buying things, because again, I'm going back to school soon. So at the same time, I'm like, I don't want this to be stuck in my house. Oh, we can talk about how I'm not streaming over winter break. Or at least I'm not gonna be streaming a lot. Dark Academia is awesome though. I know, I'm not saying it's not. But I'm just saying if I purchase it and I go to break is a break, you definitely deserve one. No, it's in the sense that I'm not gonna be in the United States. I'm gonna be in London. We can talk about how I'm too lazy to edit my TikToks. I kind of just post them. Don't be suspicious. 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 Your unedited TikToks are cool. Oh my god. What have I done? Ah! Oh, we can talk about how I don't build my characters in Genshin. There we go. But also, fucking domains in Genshin suck. I'm gonna be honest. I hate them so much. Okay, how many do I have? I'm missing one. That's gonna bother me. Wait, that I couldn't hear you. I can't be bullied. I I can't be bullied without people sounding like a bitch. How did I do that? Okay, wait. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a guide now. I'm pulling it up. I think I know where it is. Stop being relatable. I don't know how. I don't know how. Oh, I need to find my passport. That's what I need to do. Wait, never mind. I got this one because this is where the one lady is. Never mind. Where is this one? I'm pretty sure it was already over here. Okay. You know, I will look for it off stream because I think this is where I'm gonna end stream. I'm getting sleepy, and also it's almost 10. I've almost streamed for 3 hours. It's European how to salt use something that I would never have to do. It's the European. Wayward's just sitting there. She's gonna like be like, ah, yes. You must be truly desperate to come to me. Alright, who's live? Oh my god, so many people. I need to download Fall Guys. Someone is live. Who? Tell me. I think. Let me see. Let me see them. Because none of my friends are online. Nyx and V are fucking just gone. Let me see. Never mind. Alright, cool. Yeah. I honestly might hop on Discord later tonight and just honestly, like, talk more in depth about how I definitely think Genshin needs to chain and everything. You know what, let's do cozy. We're gonna go see some Stardew. They sleep. Very nice, very nice. Well, let's see. Let's look at some Stardew. God damn. Sorry. Someone is in my address. We're just gonna keep going. Wait, this looks pretty. Wait, she has a ghost. We're going. Zoomy. I almost put that in her chat. My bad. That would have been bad. Well, I hope it's not a VC. Honestly, might. Alright. We're gonna rate them. Woo. And my fucking camera went out. Love that. Wait. Wake up. Wake the fuck up. Yay. Alright, cool. Alright, so yeah, what is today? Friday. I'm not gonna be live tomorrow because it's Saturday. I don't stream Saturdays, but Sunday I will definitely be back. I think we're done with all the I don't go on VCs. Oof. I'll have someone just like voice record it. But yeah, I don't know, I might just get another VC with friends and just re-rant to them. But yeah, I will definitely see you Sunday. I don't know what I will do Sunday. I might just do the rest of this off camera, get the last conks, and do all that wonderful things. So yeah, bye.